Hey everybody, welcome back to A Sweet Journey. I am Sonia, also known as Sweets. And today, first of all, I feel like it's been forever since I recorded, and I'm so sorry about that. What I wanted to share is, usually when you think of 2020, you think of vision. And I think that some people came into this year thinking, this is the year that my vision is clearer than ever. And that might just be me, because, we always kind of like every year. For me, I love New Year's because I think New Year's give you new opportunities. And so I love celebrating a new year. So that's kind of how I think. But when I think about vision, I thought, maybe I can share some things that I have received clarity about. And I think that's important. And I think that you don't have to throw out everything. Like, I know people are like, 2020 is canceled. 2020 is not canceled. 2020, we are still right in the midst of it. So today I have 6 things that I want to share with you all. And these 6 things are areas that I am clear about. When I think about 2020 vision, these 6 things I am clear about. And I want to share those with you today. The first thing that I have clarity on is value. I know now, I think more than any other time, kind of what is of value to me. And I did not know then, but I do know now that spending alone time or spending time just being quiet and not having all of the hustle of life going on, I think that is a value for me. And I didn't know it because I'm accustomed to going. And I think I always thought that was kind of, that's who I am. I'm a person who I'm always on the go. I like to travel. I like to just kind of keep myself actively involved. But one thing that I have found that is a value for me is time to reflect and time to plan and time to just sit and enjoy. And so that is a value for me. And I am excited that I was able to learn it. I don't know that I would have learned it outside of mandatory quarantine, inside of social distancing. I don't know that I would have learned this lesson. And so I'm very, very grateful for that. So that's the first thing. The second thing is that I understand what inspires me. And I'm very clear about that. I'm clear that I am inspired by nature. I'm inspired by really quality conversations. And I'm inspired by just the ability to take the time for myself. I'm inspired by those things. I'm inspired by a good book. You'll notice that I have my bookcase. I'm inspired by these things. And how I know that I'm inspired is I can go throughout the day and I can feel exhausted. Like right before recording, I was sitting at my desk and I was reading through an email, and I found myself kind of getting a little bit frustrated. And then I found myself getting really, really tired. And so I'm staring at my screen. And then I just made a conscious choice to get up, go upstairs, and just stand out on the balcony. Which, I would have never done that before. I would have just powered through work and all of that. But I went outside, I stood out on the balcony, and I just breathed. And I just took a moment. And that inspired me. And then I came back, and now I have this energy. So this energy is from that. And it's just understanding what inspires you. For the third thing, I say this a lot, but I think this is a big part of what I value. It kind of plays into everything about who I am, and that's seasons. So I am clear about the seasons of my life. I'm also clear about where I am approaching 50. I was talking to my goddaughter the other day, and she's in her 30s. And listening to her, and I have my niece who lives with me, and listening to their stories and what they're talking about right now, and thinking about when I was their age and thinking about when I was like in college, and then when I moved out, and when I was on my own and trying to figure out my life. And then I remember shifting into my 40s, and I remember that was when I feel like my voice became the strongest, in my 40s, and as I still am. And then shifting into my 50s, and I understand the mentality shifts that are happening right now, and kind of where I am with that. And the seasons of life, I think that's important. I think that it goes still back to the lesson of sowing and reaping. Like, consider what you do in your 20s and 30s, because that's like, you still got to live in that same body and that same mind and the same, like, we are still the same person in our 50s and 60s. If God blesses us with, lots of years, we have to remember the things that we do back then will impact us now. And so, like, I think about, I was talking to somebody the other day about wearing heels. And you have to think about, you decide your 20s and 30s, you're going to wear stilettos. Well, in your 50s and 60s, you're going to have knee problems. I mean, it's, if that's what you want with your life, fine. But now 50 looks a little bit different. And because I did not wear stilettos in my 20s and 30s, every once in a while, I can put on a stiletto now going into my 50s. So there's that. So anyway, times and seasons, I think that's an important thing. And I think I'm very clear about that. And I think it's important that we become very clear about the seasons of our life and embrace them. Fourth thing that I am very clear about is intention. I think that I have embraced the idea that I have to live a life of intention. And I love it, actually. It's kind of, I speak about it a lot with my teams that work with me, and intentions are important in that we can live a life where we do things at random, like we can just kind of do random things, or we can set very clear intentions that set us on a course for execution. And I think that is a better way to approach life. And if there are any lessons that I've learned in life, what I've realized is there are things that I've set as an intention that I'm now living out now. And that's rewarding, right? Like, I get a chance to live out some of the things that I dreamed about years and years and years ago. Like, I remember growing up, I saw myself being this boss who worked with her people, and I gave instructions, but also gave encouragement and all of that. I literally live that life now. I am a boss of managers, like I'm a boss of bosses, and I get an opportunity to share the things that are important. I think I have the thing that I live out of is leadership development. It's a value for me. I love it. And so I get to live that life, which is pretty cool. I wanted to be a teacher when I was a little girl. I've been able to live out that life. I taught kindergarten, and I taught first grade, and I've trained youth, and I've trained adults. And so being able to set an intention, and I think, there's a lot that can be said about that, and I don't have really a lot of time to kind of talk through what that means, but that's how I live my life now. Going into my 50th year, I have intentions for this decade of my life. And so now I'm starting to sow seeds into my life now that I believe I will yield fruit. If I see my 60th birthday, then I believe that I'm sowing seeds right now for that. So I'm excited about that. So that is, I'm clear about that. Number 5 is outlook. And outlook is another way of saying perspective. I am clear that it is important how we see things. It's important that we have proper perspective, and that our outlook on life has meaning, has direction. It is important, I believe, that you strive to find things that you can be excited about, that you can have a proper outlook on things. And I think that helps holistically. My outlook is that I am a piece to the global puzzle. I believe that. I think that I am here on purpose. And not that I don't get negative sometimes, not that I don't complain about things, not that, sometimes my outlook is not great. Right now, at this moment, as I talk to you, my outlook is that things are going to be okay. There's that. So that's how I perceive things. That's how I live my life. And as a result of that, I'm typically in a good mood. I had a bad attitude today. I really did. But my outlook is also that you determine how long you're going to stay in that state. You can stay there for as long as you choose to stay there. I could have sat here and been angry all day, and I could have been typing on my computer, pissed off all day. I have the choice to shift. I have the choice to get up and change my circumstance. And that's exactly what I did. So that's my outlook. And then finally is I am very clear about my needs. I know first and foremost, no matter where I am, no matter what I'm doing, no matter what is happening in my life, I need God. I need him. I need him to speak to me. I need him and the love that he expresses toward me. I need that. And I strongly believe that the world needs God, honestly. At the end of the day, he is in control, period. And so I need him. I need him to continue to give me peace and grace. And I just love him. He is incredible. And I am very, very clear, 2020 vision, that I need him. As much as I need my air that I'm breathing right now, as much as I need to eat and to drink, and as much as I need to be in fellowship with people, because I think that's important. I have a need for those things. I need all of those natural things. But more than all of those things, I need God. And I need him to continue to be the source of strength for me. And so I'm very clear about that. Thank you all so much for joining me. This was a little bit lengthy today. Sorry, that's what happens. That's what happens when I don't communicate frequently. I have one very long post. But thank you all so much for joining me today. My cousin told me that I should call you all my sweeties because I'm sweets. That you all should be my sweeties. So put in the comment below what you think you all are to me. As Beyonce has her beehive, I have my. Thank you all so much for joining me. If you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe. Please give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed this conversation today. And I appreciate you for stopping by. Thank you so much, and I will see you next time. Bye.